Hey guys, welcome back. Um, just wanted to reach out and say hi to everybody before we start class this time. Hope everybody's doing well, staying safe, taking care of what they need to take care of. Um, this week lesson, it's I think it's going to cover more information than last week's, but I think it's easier than last week's. So stick with it, knock it out. If you have questions, reach out to me or any other teacher. Also, please make sure, guys, we're making a conscious effort to go through the tutorial. Okay, spend a decent amount of time in there. Take notes, learn the information. I know it stinks. I know we're not in the classroom, but you guys can do it. You can knock it out. It should be real easy. All right, so I'm going to start sharing my screen here so we can get started. See. Okay, so now that I'm presenting my screen, you guys should see what I'm seeing here. It's a tutorial contents. I don't really want to flip much past this, so I probably won't even honestly leave the screen because everything we really need is right here. There's only going to be one of these points I'm going to go into any detail with, okay? And it is going to be the Great Awakening. It's going to be one of the first things we see right after our introduction, okay? The Great Awakening, guys, I just want to explain this one just because I think it's probably going to be a little bit harder to understand. Maybe wrap your heads around. I could be wrong, but let's go through it anyway, okay? So the Great Awakening, what is this going to be? Realistically, what we're going to be talking more about is the Second Great Awakening, okay? The Second Great Awakening is going to be a call back to God. The original Great Awakening was when science started to really gain ground and people were starting to understand more in the world. A lot of people in religious fields got pretty upset about that, and they came down with a strict hand and basically condemned these people, saying that you need to believe in God, you need to have pure faith, stop believing these things. So there was a move away from religion there for a little bit. And then the Second Great Awakening is going to be a big one where there's this realization that sinners can still go to heaven. They'll still be accepted by God as long as they accept God into their hearts. Okay. This is big. This is in Christianity more of the present day belief. So that's a pretty big thing. Okay. Also, guys, I apologize. Let me just backtrack here. This week's lesson is called Culture and Reform in the Mid-1800s. This is going to talk a lot about social change. Okay. So if that's a term you guys don't know, I would honestly suggest please go look it up. Know how to make your own definition. I don't want to throw out free definitions for you guys. I want to see you go and kind of learn this stuff. Unfortunately, with me not being there in the classroom and you guys having to learn off of a computer, like I said, things kind of stink, but you got a computer right in front of you. Just look it up. Social change. Okay, be able to talk about it with your own words. All right, so back to the lesson. After the Great Awakening, we're going to run into the thing called the abolitionist movement. Okay, abolitionist movement, guys. That is going to be talking about the abolition of slavery. This is going to be the first time we see this in history, where it really starts to gain ground. Unfortunately, it's not going to be successful until after a 5-year war that we will be talking about shortly. That's going to have to decide the fate of that and other things as well. But this is going to be the beginning of that. Attitudes towards the abolitionist movement were somewhat mixed, but there were more against it than there were for it. Okay, so this is going to be the start of us learning about that. And again, like I said, abolitionist movement is not going to be decided until 1865 at the end of the Civil War. Okay, so moving forward here, now we have Dorothea Dix. Dorothea Dix is going to be dealing with kind of how we treat people with mental disabilities, how we not necessarily just treat them medically, but how we treated them in society, I guess I would say. So I really want to let you guys take a peek at that stuff. It's pretty interesting. That slide isn't too long either. So just take a look at it. All right. After that, we're going to talk about the women's rights movement. Okay, again, another big movement here coming forward with women's rights. This is going to be a movement that's going to fight for men and women to have equal rights. Again, guys, unfortunately, it's going to take a lot more time than we are seeing in this lesson for this movement to be successful. Okay, but eventually it is. And thank God, we are where we are today. Okay, and then you're going to see a lesson activity talking about the Declaration of Sentiments. And then we have art, music, and literature. It's going to talk about that. I see a lot of you guys have been spending time with the art class, with Miss Blair's art class. That's awesome. I love that you love it. So this should be a very cool, interesting slide for you. After that, we hit a summary, and then you guys are done. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Let me come back so you can see me. That is going to be my lesson for the week, guys. Again, if you need help with anything, please feel free to reach out to myself or any other teacher, staff member. We're here to help. Call us, text us, email us, whatever you need. Also, I can't stress this enough, guys. Please just make sure that we are logging on to Play-Doh every day, and we're trying our best to get at least 1 hour per class per week. Okay. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's really not. Just make sure we're going through the tutorials, read them, take some notes, and then take your tests afterwards. Okay. All right. Well, I hope everybody has a good week, and I'll see you next week.